Talk about, and it's always amazing to me when we put these conversations together, Carter, and I learn something every time I talk to you. So let me just throw that out real quick. Let's talk about the types of exercise. There's some popular ones that people think about: walking, running, swimming, hiking. Can you share any tips? I've got a feeling you're going to say that's also person specific, but are there any tips for picking which of those would be most effective? Maybe for somebody just starting out.
Yeah. So I think the tip for just starting out is talk to your healthcare provider. If you haven't worked out in a long time, you want to be careful. You want to make sure that you're capable. Some people might have high blood pressure. Some people might be dealing with diabetes and other issues. So definitely check in with someone before you start out. But starting slow, you don't run a marathon by running 26.2 miles on your first outing, right? It starts with a little half a mile. And that's plenty. And it can start with walking. You're definitely not going to, just like when we learn to walk, right? I have two small children under the age of 3, so that's kind of where my focus is. But as we learn to walk, we crawl, we scuttle around for a little bit. It's the same thing with working out. You don't get fit right away, and it's kind of like a slow build. So when it comes to, say, if you were going to start running, you wouldn't start with sprints. You would start with walking. Then you would do a slight jog. Then you might extend out your jog, and then you get into sprint. So I would recommend doing that to all of the types of workout, whether it be riding a bike or swimming. You kind of build up as you go.
Got it. There's some non-traditional, well, in some circles they wouldn't be called non-traditional, but for us here in the West, things we don't necessarily think about as exercise. I'm thinking Tai Chi, yoga. There's also dance and water aerobics. Can you touch on some of those types of exercise that we may not think of exercise that would be maybe a sneaky way for somebody to get it in? If somebody's really into music and into dance, can they just crank up some music and dance for 15 minutes twice a day? And is that going to give them the same benefit as somebody else strapping on some shoes and hitting the trail?
All those are awesome. And they're quote unquote non-traditional. I think it's only because of in this culture, right? And in this country, they're not traditional, but yoga, Tai Chi, like you talked about, that's on the, Eastern side of things. And those have been there for centuries, right? So there's tremendous value. And I think anytime that you can center your mind around the movements of your body, that's a workout. You're understanding your body through space. That doesn't always have to involve a cardio workout, right? So that could be a resistance type workout. So now Tai Chi, I might not be breaking a full sweat, but I'm still experiencing my body through space and having that resistance. So I got a name drop. Since you named some good ones, you did like dance, yoga, Tai Chi. If you haven't done Pilates and you want to work out, so when I used to play football in college, that was the best shape I've ever been in. And my buddy drove me to a Pilates class.
Wow.
Full sweat. Sore for like 2 or 3 days after, like I had been in the gym, and it was just that resistance of my own body in space. Wow. So it was non-traditional, but it was awesome, and I would highly recommend it.
I'm gonna check. I'm gonna check that. I'm gonna check in with my healthcare provider first to make sure I don't kill myself, because I've got a couple weeks off during the holidays, and I'm looking to do this year things I've never done before, and I've never done Pilates, never even tried it. So I'm looking to trying that next time.
A lot of planks.
It's gonna I'll tell you off camera what happened the first and only time I tried to do some planks. I'm not gonna commit that to camera right here. Let's talk about, as a final question, Carter, exercise. It's popularly perceived as kind of an endeavor of the young. You mentioned, we talked about the need to increase bone density as we get older, so we touched on it a little bit. How important is it really to maintain a healthy lifestyle over the course of your life? Does that tend to taper off with age, the need to do that? Or is it the opposite? Is it more important as you get older that you find a way to keep the body moving?
Yeah, man. I think it's vital to having a sustained quality of life. We all know that we're all going to get older sooner or later, right? That's the inevitable. But what we can control is the quality of that aging. And working out consistently is going to improve that hands down. So as we age, the amount of time we spend doing it, the amount of weights or the length that we have our heart rate elevated, that might look a little bit different. But I think the continued, sustained, effort to working out, to getting out and moving around, that is key and that's critical. Like we talked about, I know women suffer from osteoporosis at a higher rate than men, so resistance training is highly recommended for women as they age. For men who suffer from cardiovascular disease in their lifestyle, having those aerobics throughout the day would be huge. And aerobic is just a workout that uses oxygen, so anything working out. So I would say the type of workout might taper off, but working out as a whole should always be there. It should be a core to a lot of our daily routines.
So I was right, Carter. You've given me no out tonight. There's no reason you have given me today for me not to get out and do this. So I'm gonna say thank you in the sincere way that I always thank you. But
man.
I'm gonna say thanks, Carter. Really appreciate it. Now you're gonna have me hit the road.
Well, I'll join you in spirit.
All right, do that. And let me ask you this final question. You said you talked about Pilates. What do you do now? Because you're in pretty good shape. So what do you do now? What's your regimen about?
I got kids, man. I run around.
I hear you.
I do this lift 24/7, getting up off the knee. No, but all honesty, playing with my kids is awesome. That's a workout in itself. But I do like to run on the side. It puts myself in a good mental headspace. Getting that time, that clarity, by myself is huge, and that's my go-to.
Got it. Well, I've done that. Mine are out of the house, so I'm not going back to that. So I'll hit that road and do the Pilates and take care of mine. Carter Todd, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, man. Really appreciate it. Carter Todd, again, for y'all, is the president of the Capital City Black Nurses Association. If you got questions or want to know what they're about, go to their website, ccbna.org. If you've heard anything that you like, there you go. We should be doing that, shouldn't we? Let's see. That way. If you hear anything that during this entire conversation, or you want to know more about what Brother Be Well is about, go to mentalhealthca.org. You can see more videos just like this one, get all kinds of tips. You can even subscribe to our free magazine. Again, that's at mentalhealthca.org. Until next time, I'm Michael P. Coleman. Again, I'm your content director at Brother Be Well, and I want to invite you to please do me a favor until we talk to you next time, rather, you take good care of yourself and take good care of somebody else. Bye-bye.